I also made the case for owning Bitcoin, the quintessence of scarcity premium. It's literally the only large tradable asset in the world that has a known fixed maximum supply. By its design, the total quantity of Bitcoins cannot exceed 21 million.
Bitcoin is the hardest money that has ever been invented.
If you don't have my private key, you cannot spend my Bitcoin, period. And this is the power of Bitcoin.
It's the first time we figured out how to create true property that you can take possession of with full custodial rights.
Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome to Solo Rep number 38 here in the Talking in Bits podcast. And it has been a crazy year so far for me, my people. But welcome back. This is where I get to slow it down. This is when I get to speak just to y'all. This is when I don't have to focus on anything else that I got going on, but speaking to my tribe, my people, those that have supported me, supported the show, I should say, because I support myself, but supported the show because this is a fully audience-funded show. And every single day it becomes harder and harder to keep up the fight of keeping this show ad and sponsor free. And I want to be perfectly transparent with y'all. I get the offers. Right? I've gotten people to reach out. I've gotten people to give me ideas that they want to include in the show and what they want to do. And I always pump the brakes on that. I always end those conversations really fast. It's not for some virtuoso thing. It's not because I feel that my product is, it can't function well on ads or anything like that. It's because I really want to stick to my guns, and the best information that's out there and the best products that are out there are ones that are not defined by the value that the creator creates. It's defined by the people. It's defined by you, what you get out of it. Do you get something great out of Talking in Bits? Awesome. Let me know how much that is and let me know what value you decide to give. Do you get nothing from Talking in Bits? Awesome. I know that because you're listening on the free platforms, the legacy platforms, and you're not providing anything. You're not on Bitcoin, well, then, the same thing applies. You either go to the talkinginbits.com/donate, and you guys are sending sats in there that way through the invoices, or you're not. You're just listening for free, and that's absolutely fine because this show is designed to basically be audience funded and not require the assistance whether you guys need it or not. I'm always going to be here. I'm always going to up my game. I feel very confident that I have one of the better products in the market, if not the best in the space. And a little bit of that is ego, a little bit of that is cockiness, but a little bit of that is the response that I get from y'all. The fact that when Fountain ended their top, 100 podcasts, I was in the top 20. Talking in Bits was in the top 20, and that's a vote for every single one of y'all. That's something that y'all made happen. Now I'm here to create it. I'm here to put it together. I'm consistent. But if you guys didn't mess with it, you guys wouldn't donate the sets. And that's very important to start off the show. I'm going to basically read off the Fountain made an update, which I'm going to get to a little bit later. And I'm going to see if I can see the supporters here. Yeah, I could see the supporters here. It's only a few here, which is good and bad, I guess, depending on how you look at it. Let me see the CR bar. Basically, y'all, I'm trying to navigate this new Fountain dashboard here in the background. And although I love many things about it, I hate many things about it. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. Right now, all it's showing me here is the supporters, Dirty Jersey Whore. I appreciate you with the biggest boost, the biggest support that I've gotten all week. This looks like Bubba, although Bubba, I don't know if you actually put the user stats in there, but either way, it has your as user, blah, 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 blah. I thought you used to have a Fountain name. You might want to fix that, brother, if you're listening, but I appreciate you, Bubba, always coming in, always showing love, always out there on these streets, on these roads, trying to get the consumers and the people what they need. Observant, I appreciate you. Owen Lewis, I think you're a new listener. Hey, welcome. I appreciate you. I appreciate the sats and appreciate the value for value, as I just expressed. And Patar is a long-time listener. Patar has been rolling with not only value for value, Patar is an OG of value for value, but with Talking in Bits, he adopted us putting Talking in Bits inside of his listener circuit for what seems to be forever now. So I appreciate you, Patar, every time you pop in. And I think you're actually going to get something out of this episode because I remember when I talked about pomp before, you seem to enjoy that conversation. So I appreciate y'all. Those are the ones that I have. I want to be transparent from the very top of the show. I see bigger and better things for Talking in Bits. What do I mean by that? What does Jose mean by that? Well, if you were listening to the show, if you have been listening to the show, back in December, I basically, towards the new year, basically made the announcement that, what I thought I had figured out, which is this is where I'm going to be at. And not only this is where I'm going to be at, but, this is the flow of the show. I'm going to get away from interviews. I'm going to start doing more solo rips. And I did get some boosters to say we love the solo rips, and the solo rips are definitely not going to go away. But not to make the same mistake twice, I just want to let y'all know that I'm working hard on restructuring the show. Why? Because I personally don't think that Talking in Bits is where it needs to be, and I don't think Talking in Bits is going where I want it to go. That has nothing to do with y'all, by the way. That has everything to do with me. For those of you that know me outside of Talking in Bits, or just know me in person or anything like that, you guys know that since last September, I started my own media company called Spotlight Coalition. And the good news is that Spotlight Coalition is working very well. Some of your favorite podcasters that you may or may not know, I'm the person behind that. I'm the person behind the audio. I'm the person behind the video. Basically give them a little bit of Talking in Bits dust is what I call it. This and that's good because I have a lot of goals that I want to achieve, and that's aligning with that. The problem with all that is as we all know, as human beings, where time is thin, right? Where bandwidth is an issue, and Talking in Bits, to do it in the interview version and do it in the solo rip version, was a lot of time consuming thing. I feel I'm gonna get back to that, right? I really love the interviews. I think the interviews are very important for Bitcoin. I think the interviews are very important selfishly for me because I learn a lot, and I think that the show actually evolved better when I was actually getting, guests in here to speak about what they're working on or speak about their knowledge or expertise. And now, because I like to listen to Talking in Bits just as much as you do. Like, I like to check my own work. Now I'm starting to think that the solo rips are just a little bit one-sided. And I want to fix that. I love solo rips. We're about to get into a really good one here as soon as I'm done yapping about this transparency. But I always want to let y'all know how I feel directly. I don't want you to see the quality suffer, or I don't want you to hear it from somebody else. And Talking in Bits is my baby. Talking in Bits is something, if you've been listening since day one when I had the co-host, and I went through that whole thing, the first 50 odd episodes, and the transition that I had to take to now focus on guests, and then the solo rips were introduced. Talking in Bits is growing, right? And it's my baby. It's something that I've worked very hard for. So I'm gonna do y'all the justice, the listeners who spare me their time, and I'm going to do myself the justice, and I'm going to balance better. And I'm going to make sure Talking in Bits continues the road that it was doing and continues to go, in the direction that I wanted to go to, while still being free, right? While still being audience funded. And that's going to take work on my end. But I also want Spotlight Coalition to grow, because Spotlight Coalition aligns with a lot of the goals that I've designed for myself. And just wanted to start the show off with that. And now we get into the business. We're going to dissect this pomp video. Oh, my favorite. We're going to dissect these charlatan videos here. We got pomp, and pomp is the biggest charlatan I've ever seen. So a little bit of my background for the first time listeners or the newer listeners. When I came into the space, Pomp was like the king of the kings, right? Of the influencers, I should say. Pomp was the one that was telling everybody, yo, go block POS, son. Yo, this and that, son. And you could do, get yields, son. And my company does this, yo. And influencing and doing what he do. Him and there's a few of them motherfuckers, but him and Jay Williams were two dudes that try to hide behind this, like, this is who I really am. This is not an influencer thing. This is what I really believe, yo. And if you don't like it, you just broke, or you just this, or you just. So they have massive followings. They still have massive followings, but what pure Bitcoiners learned over time is these are the dudes that you follow if you want to get wrecked, right? So I've had a bunch of episodes here where I've talked about how I hate their madness. I hate their they're bully. I hate that they can influence people to do bad shit, and I hate that they could get people rug pulled and continue to go about their business like if shit never happened. I really can't stand that. It actually boils my blood. But, as most of us in the position of life, we can't really do much about that. The internet's going internet. The people going to do what they're going to do. And sometimes people have to touch the stove to get burnt. So, Pomp, BlockFi got destroyed. All his sponsors basically got destroyed. Maybe not all of them, but the majority of the big ones, especially the ones that he vouched heavily for. And y'all could go do your own research and look up for all the tweet stamps, for all the bullshit that he's ever promoted and all the bullshit that he's ever pushed. And it's documented very, very exquisite. So this is another thing that boils my blood. So the foundation that dudes that are opposite of Pomp, dudes like me, right? The dudes that do it the right way, the dudes that do it the hard way, the dudes that analyzed, built on top of Adam Curry's, the work that he's been doing and the value for value. Now he's gonna change his mind, right? And he's gonna get away with it. And I'll let you know what I mean after we dissect this video. So let's listen to Pomp's shitty ass apology video, may I add, and I don't know if you guys can see this video. I'm gonna leave the link in the show notes. I don't even know if in the post that I can even put up this video without getting pulled from YouTube or anything like that. I don't know the rules of all that, but we're at least gonna listen to this audio.
What's going on?
The reason I
I've got an announcement for 2023, so I figured I'd just jump on,
let's go.
do a quick video. I'm not exactly sure how long these videos are allowed to be, but we'll find out together. So as many of you know, back in 2017, exactly 5 years ago to the month, I started creating content on the internet. The general idea was put ideas out there, get feedback, learn, meet a bunch of people. That's exactly what I've done. Started tweeting. I think I had like 2,000 followers, so pretty insane to see kind of where we've come.
Okay.
Then started writing the newsletter, doing the podcast, eventually on YouTube. We now reach millions and millions of people around the world. And sure, myself and the team worked pretty hard, but I think we're shocked as to how big this all got and how many people we're able to reach every single month. On top of that, there's been an incredible benefit. I've been able to travel around the world. I've met extraordinary people in every area of the world. I've been able to raise quite a bit of money for some great causes, help thousands.
I want to stop right here real quick. So this dude starts an apology video by basically strutting his stuff or tooting his own horn or letting us know everything that he's done and all the successes that he's done. Is that supposed to be a warm-up? Because my first thought is, and I'm not doubting that he hasn't worked and that he hasn't done his own fair share of hustle. I'm not doubting that his team does anything. But what I'm curious about is, and hearing that is how much of that you just said there, how much of your growth, how much of that traveling around the world and people you meet was built or structured on the back of the normal person, on the money
people
of the person that you
jobs,
tried to show to and
successfully
successfully won over.
And if I'm really honest with myself, I probably learned more in the last 5 years than in the first 30, which is pretty personally rewarding. But all those benefits didn't come without a cost. There's kind of this like hidden secret cost that I didn't really realize until recently. And so, as we were building out more and more content, I wanted to do more. I wanted to do higher quality. Anything that I do, I try to work hard at and do to the best of my ability. So I started to hire a team. And in order to be able to build a team and support that team, we pursued advertising as the monetization model. As many of you know, when you listen to a podcast, you watch YouTube videos, there's ads, companies pay, and the people who are creating that content tell you about the companies that are the advertisers. And that was great. But this industry is a little bit different. And so one of the issues is while we worked with some amazing advertisers, we also worked with some companies who did some pretty bad things. And what I realized over the last couple of months is I was essentially renting my name and reputation out to these businesses. These are businesses that I don't control. They're businesses that
You don't fucking say. Let me pause this real quick. You don't fucking say. So wait a minute. So all the Bitcoiners and all the people that were all up in your comments, every time you dropped some bullshit, whether it was the stupid shoes, the Bitcoin pizza, all the other fucking stupid, all the people that went in there and were saying, hey man, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you not contributing? Why are you always shilling? Why are you lying? Why are you trying to make profit? Why are you always... So those people didn't matter at the time. But now you're going to sit here and after you made all that money, now you're going to sit here and basically say, hey, it's all good. I noticed that that comes with me selling my soul. How many motherfuckers did it take to tell you that you were selling your soul before you realized you were selling your soul? Because there was a lot of people every time you would drop one of your shows that would tell you, you are a sellout, fam. Like I could, like in my head, I can clearly see the tweets that were basically explaining to you that you are a sellout, fam. So what, you didn't notice it at the time? You had too much money coming your way that you didn't notice that you were a sellout? You didn't notice that some of that stuff was unethical? Right? And this is the problem that I have with dudes and influencers that grow to his size. They always want to cape away from, you know, they always want to say that, oh, no, in retrospect. Well, listen, if you just pay attention to the feedback, right? Which is what I started this show saying. I started basically telling this show saying that, you know, the feedback that I get from my audience is very important to me. That's how we mold the show. That's how we fold. That's how we like kind of continue here. Now, don't get me wrong. As a creative, I have my own creativity and it's not the end all be all. But you, good sir, ignored the feedback from thousands of people. Maybe you thought they were trolling, but I don't think every single person was trolling. I think there was people giving you genuine feedback and you just continue to go that route because you made too much damn fucking money. Right? And when I was calling this out a year ago, 2 years ago, what people were telling me is, and even my co-host was telling me this, nah, man, you just not an entrepreneur, man. You just don't know how to make money, man. You just don't know how to make business, man. He just getting his bread. You know, he's getting his Bitcoin. And I always struggled with this because I had a show and I wanted the show to grow and I wanted the show to, you know, but if there's one thing I've learned over time is, it's better to be the tortoise than it is to be the hare. It's better to build slow, right? It's better to get a genuine audience, right? Than it is to sell your soul, as he literally just proclaimed, to be able to get fast success. Because then you always end up like him right now. You build fast, you end up with the doofy face apologizing on the internet. Me personally, where Talking in Bits has come, right, without taking a single dollar that wasn't voluntarily given to the show, has come very far and has very far to go. That's why I'm hard on myself. That's why I want the show to be better. That's why I'm coming to y'all in today's rep a little bit more serious than usual and not laid back like I have been. Because I know myself and I know that laid back, Jose, means that I'm not taking things serious. So because this is completely audience funded, I have to make sure that I come here and take this serious, right? Not because my livelihood is depending on this, because I love to do this. And I don't need somebody to give me $1 to love to show up and do this, right? Jay-Z famously once said, what you eat don't make me shit. If you're listening to this show right now and you're an ad and you have ads on your show, or you know, you're okay with it, that's okay. That's your style of things. But be ethical in all the behavior that you do. Be ethical in your actions, right? This dude was selling shit that he was invested in that was obviously going to benefit him. This dude was going against the ethos of Bitcoin, right? By telling you that you don't need your private keys, right? And now my question, and I'm going to finish this video of his is so we can move on here, is if BlockFi didn't go under and all those exchanges didn't go under last year, would you still be here with this doofy face apologizing to whoever the fuck still follows it, which is a lot of people, by the way.
The businesses that I don't own. And so in some weird way, my reputation was being used for them to profit. And that's just not something I'm comfortable with. I think I came to the conclusion that my reputation is not for sale. And so starting out 2023, I'm taking all advertisers off the audio podcast and off the YouTube videos.
It was for sale.
So I'm essentially blowing up the business. I'm completely destroying it, taking revenue to zero. every single person I've talked to.
Oh, this guy's good. So this guy started the conversation by basically strutting his resume and strutting all the shit that he's done off the back of other people, right? Then he highlights the obvious, which everybody has been telling him and other shows, which is, why are you advertising that nonsense in the Bitcoin space, right? And he did the same thing that all those other people do, all those players do. Oh, you just don't get it, bro. That's how I keep the money up, bro. Well, that's how I pay people, bro. All right, well, listen, I'm going to tell you what. I've gotten this far with quality that you guys see here and that you guys listen to. I've paid a few people to help me do a few things, and I never needed an ad sponsor, bro. Oh, but you don't have 400,000 followers, Jose. Not yet. Not yet. But going back to being the tortoise and not the hare. I don't care about 500,000 people. I care about the main 100. Right? Eventually, I'll care about the main 1,000, and I'll care about the main 2,000, and then I'll care about the main 10,000. But it's not in my interest nor in my creativity to give a shit about 400,000 people that only want to listen to me whenever I want to show them something or whenever I'm in their favor. I want the real ones to ride. I want the real ones to get this content. I want to spend this extra time during my week to edit, to shoot, to record all this for the ones that really respect me and the ones that really take my word. Everybody else could go listen to other shows, man. I don't have time for that. I'm not designing this for them. I'm designing this for you, the person that's listening here. I'm not even going to finish this because his doofiness continues. But what really pisses me off is that now he's going to make this smooth transition into value for value, right? Something that he didn't endorse, something that he didn't try to help build, something that, you know, he did nothing to contribute to, right? But because he has such a massive Bitcoin following, which I still don't understand, I've noticed on my Fountain app, on my feed, and I don't even know why the fuck it shows up there. Fountain, why don't you figure that out? I'm seeing people throw a bunch of money over to pomp. Not a bunch of money. Well, it is current. Bitcoin is currency, but a bunch of sats towards pomp. Hey, welcome to value for value, man. So this dude was able to benefit off the back of most average Bitcoiners. This dude got, and this is the number that I'm interested in finding out, how many Bitcoiners that have took his advice have gotten wrecked, right? They're never going to get their sats back. And then here we got people boosting this guy's sats and giving them even more money. So now he's easily going to transition. And the doofus sits here and says, oh, I'm about to blow up the business. No, you're not, because the ignorant or the naive listener is still giving you currency. You're still making money through your following. You're still monetizing the following, you doofus. Why are you lying to everybody and saying that you're blowing up your business? Nobody's going to blow up anything. You're a doofus. You're lying. You continue to lie. And now you're about to get away with it. Because as far as I've seen so far, everybody's like, yo, welcome, pomp. Welcome to what? To what we've built? The environment that we've pioneered? Right? That's crazy to me. And if you're listening, it should be crazy to you. And if it's not crazy to you, then you've been manipulated and you've been fooled, and you shouldn't. This dude is a charlatan, man. He's one of the biggest ones that I've ever seen in my time in any niche or any business or any product. I've never seen nobody as sophisticated as him rug pull as many people and gotten them wrecked. Your doofy face and your dumbass apology is not going to get those people back their Bitcoin that listen to you and put their life savings into your fucking shills. And this goes across the board. This goes to the McCormacks of the world. This goes to everybody. What the fuck are y'all doing? This dude has a history of rug pulling everybody and leading them the wrong way. And now you're going to believe this little 5-minute clip of him looking doofy in the face? Of course he's going to get rid of his advertisement, because as we all know who listen to this show, value for value is the future. But he's going to try to frame that as is like, oh, I'm just going to do the right thing. No, you've already made millions of dollars off the back of people. And now you're going to transition and make millions of dollars off of people in this arena as well and expose this arena. And the fucking funny shit is that the content isn't even good. I can't listen to that dude conduct a show. That's a terrible show. I'm a hater. Okay, whatever. I know what I know, and I know what I love so much, and that's podcasting. And that doofus is not doing anything to the game. That dude is not contributing anything to the game. And I stand on that and I die on that hill. And anybody wants to battle that, come reach out to me. Hit me in the DM, hit me in a boost, whatever you want. Stop listening to my show. I don't really care because I see right through this. And I think it's a damn shame that I started seeing people show him value for value and saying that he's actually providing value. I even know prominent Bitcoiners who I'm not going to name here. I got a lot of tea to spill if I want to. I know prominent Bitcoiners that talk all this Bitcoin nonsense, and whenever Pomp comes around, they stood at attention. They gave him the time, right? And if you're a true adamant Bitcoiner, you can't stand watching people get rug pulled, and you won't support anybody that's gotten anybody rug pulled. And these prominent Bitcoiners that I know put all that shit to the side because they're fiat minded, even though they want to say that they're not. Oh, I only did it for the audience that he has. Well, that's very fiatish because a lot of pure maxi Bitcoiners that have shows also have massive audiences, and you could have focused on them, but instead you gave your time to them. Give me your thoughts on this, y'all. Maybe I'm full of shit. Maybe I'm making this stuff up. Maybe I'm not a businessman. You call it whatever you want. But what I do know is I sleep well at night, and I'm proud of Talking in Bits, and I'm proud of the people that have helped Talking in Bits get to where it's at, and I'm super proud of the audience that continues to listen. So that's all I got for that doofy in the face, dude. There's another 2 minutes and 50 seconds, but I'm going to spare you on that because we're going to get to other topics here so we could keep this nice and concise here. So lightning is what we are banking on being the consumer entry to Bitcoin. It was very hard to conduct on-chain transactions. You guys know that. And Lightning continues to innovate. So we got a few updates on Lightning. Dorsey basically brought up here that he's working on, and trademark working on, because most people say that, and Jack Mallers famously says, I'm working on this, and it doesn't come out for years. But this one seems like a very easy one and a no-brainer, and one that we've kind of predicted here on the show before, which is Dorsey is working on integrating Bitcoin Lightning into Square POS terminals. So that's massive because, and I actually had a conversation with a previous Cash App employee earlier today. What Square, Block, whatever they're calling themselves nowadays, did very well is they nurtured and they took care of the small business owners, right? They built products for them. They kept in touch with them. They got feedback with them. They gave them entry to banking, right? They did a lot of things for the small business owner, and that's what they got their niche on. That's why Cash App is so big. I remember the little Square readers when they came out, where you could actually now, as a small business, start accepting credit cards. That was big at the time. My wife is a baker, and she was, we were blown away when she was able to now use her cell phone to swipe credit cards and make payments, right? So they already have this infrastructure built in that's primed and ready for Bitcoin, right? And that's the small business marketplace. And I think, I'm not going to say it's a flip of the switch, but now with all the work that they've done on the Cash App with the Lightning and LDK implementation, I think they're ready to flip a switch on this. I don't think this is going to be much heavy lifting for them to be able to get your favorite baker or your favorite haircut person to be able to accept Lightning. I mean, that's already possible in the Cash App. They can already do that. But I'm talking about a way where I could tap my phone or the little iPad that they're using or the phone that they're using is going to give a QR code, and it's going to tie in all to their business and be able to get paid fiat in the background if they want it and all that good stuff. And this is huge because the same way allowing the small business owner to accept credit cards was massive for the game at the time, allowing small business owners to accept Bitcoin is massive. We all know this. This is why Oshi exists. This is why IBEX and all those other Lightning products exist. Well, now we have the company that pioneered all of that point of sale system, those POS systems, to be able to integrate Bitcoin and Lightning. And it's going to be beautiful because they usually do incredible interfaces and they have the infrastructure, they have the manpower and woman power to be able to build this thing out and actually push this further along. So I'm super excited for that announcement. I think it's massive. I think we kind of expected this to happen, just like I've been saying that we can expect Tidal to start accepting sats. Right, which for those of you that don't know, Tidal is a music streaming platform where the artists get a bigger split. Well, guess what? The next thing best on top of that is value for those artists. And then what we do is we educate them on Bitcoin as we do so, right? So these artists now and these business owners now not only can receive this, but understand the value of receiving this. All the things that we know, the discount the 2.5 Visa charge that can now go back to their clients or go back to their customers, all the benefits that come with that, but also keeping it on your business's sheets, having some Bitcoins for future, being able to put it away, right? And then Block is working on a hardware wallet, and you see it, right? You see this thing unfolding in a consumer standpoint, not like us maxis that already have all this stuff figured out and walk around with multiple wallets, but one point where you can basically do everything. You can, send your favorite Heartlet or your favorite OnlyFans girl some money through Cash App, but then you could also, if you're the Heartlet in this example, also receive Bitcoin and Lightning. Super fascinating if you ask me. On top of that now, and this is continuing the Lightning train, Sailor announces, let me pull this up here so I can read it verbatim. MicroStrategy offers Bitcoin Lightning solutions in 2023. I'm going to read a little bit about this because that's very vague. Basically, Michael Saylor shares his firm's plans to release Bitcoin Lightning powered software solutions in 2023. The Lightning Network is a layer 2 payment. We all know that. Business intelligence tech companies knows for its massive Bitcoin holding. I want to get to the point where we're at here. Yeah, and this is something that, if you follow Saylor on Twitter, you've basically seen where he's going with this, because he's always bashing Elon, not bashing, but bringing up to Elon and bringing up to Twitter and bringing up to Dorsey before that there should be a lightning wall on Twitter, right? And he talked about it in the verification check marks. We've talked about it in a way to reduce bots and spam. Nostr is basically getting closer to doing this, which is being able to have Lightning invoices basically built into messages as opposed to built into a button into the whole app. And I think in a broader scope, obviously we're going to think bigger here because it's Saylor, he's going to try to, build Lightning as security implementations, like I just said. So imagine going to a website and instead of doing those reCAPTCHA things or whatever, maybe you pay 10 sats to get into the website. Right. And this is a lightning wall. It's basically going to allow certain type of traffic to make it in and be able to block old school, bots and old legacy stuff away from doing that. That's going to be fascinating. And I know people have brought this up, but nobody has brought this up that has the power and the engineering prowess that Michael Saylor does. And I think this is going to be really fun to watch. I mean, I wasn't purposely doing so, but I have a wolf shirt on right now, which is a Lightning incubator. Yeah, man, the big dogs are stepping into Lightning. The big dogs are putting the money in Lightning, and the developers are now flourishing, right? They're getting funding. They're getting all the tools that they need in order to build out this future. So we think about, Lightning in what I was talking about in the Block example, which is paying for stuff. But what if we use it as a security feature? What if we use it to block certain things? What if we use it as a literal wall? Whatever that wall is used for, it's up to the user to be able to stop certain software from doing certain things, et cetera, et cetera. I think that'll be fascinating. I think any business owner that's ever had a website has to deal with spam mail. Right? It has to deal with these bots saying, hey, I'm such and such from whatever, want to, lick my butt. I don't think I've ever gotten that one, but you guys get it. It's these weird messages that come through, and that could all be stopped if that bot had to pay some sats in order to get to your inbox. Right. And, and reading this article, I think that's what I got from that. So I think it's very fascinating and exciting to see that play out. And hopefully that plays out the way it's supposed to. But I'm just excited that in this conversation here, we could literally talk about two big influences in Bitcoin being able to provide the ability for us to be able to now do that, do newer things, because the developers are having a hard time out here, man. They could only build. They can't build and sell and scale. They could build, or they could scale, or they could sell. But a lot of the developers that are working on Lightning are having a hard time doing all of them. These guys have the power to do that, all three of them, and they have the resources to do so. So very exciting to see it pushed up. Before I even go a little bit further, don't trust Elon. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to get into Elon. Fuck Elon. He does some things good and some things not, but I don't know if this is true or not. Supposedly he's thinking about a native Twitter coin to be able to pay for things and all that. How many times are we going to tell you, fam? And he knows this. How many times are people going to tell you that that's already exists and you could just do it with Bitcoin and Lightning? Anyways, let's forget him. New fountain update. New fountain update. How do I feel? First of all, shout out to the fountain team. They're always working hard. They're always pushing updates. It's still my favorite way to consume and earn sats, right? That's, there's other apps. I always say it, podcasting index /apps, and you can see all the list of them. I'm always on my phone. I know there's browser-based podcast apps. I'm always using it on my phone. So Fountain for me is the go-to app, the de facto app. I think since this new update, they've had a bunch of new different things. They got a, Zebedee wallet integration. Most importantly, though, performance has improved. Things do load better. Things do look cleaner. The UI has gotten much cleaner. What I don't necessarily like, and this is small, picky stuff, is that they basically just turned everything into a card system. Right? So like now every section of every single part of the app is just I'm not a developer, but I believe this is called an object, and it's probably a card object. So I don't know how to navigate this shit. Like right now I'm in the, okay, I actually had to scroll down to see that, as you can see. Like the earnings seem a little bit weird to me. And everything is just a card, like I said. So everything is just squared out, and the comments are a card now. So I'm just scrolling through a list of cards. The podcasts are a list of cards. Now you could say that was the way it was before, but at least they didn't seem like cards. They were just divisions. I know, very subtle difference. But I don't know if it makes it look cleaner. I don't know if cards is the way to go here. Now I'm happy that performance has gotten better. Even though Gene is having a hard time on Fountain. Gene, shout out to you. If you're having a hard time on Fountain, I'm sure you're not the only one giving boosts and stuff like that. So there's still some bugs there that need to be tinkered out. And Fountain did announce that they're already working on some of these bugs and ready to squash it out. I do also like the home screen now. I like the activity, even though I'm seeing shit like pomp and stuff that I'm not supposed to be seeing. I still see it there. But I do like basically being able to see what's hot on Fountain and all those stuff. So overall, I do like this Fountain update. I just don't know if cards everywhere is the way to go. And I think eventually you're going to have to give us a light mode, dark mode. Like I want to see what this app looks like when it's not all black and gold. I know that that's the colors. I know that's what we're used to. I need to see what that looks like in basically a daytime mode and not a night mode. But everything looks pretty clean in the UI. I like the play buttons being on the side there. The wallet is a little bit tricky there. I used to be able to, everything is just hiding behind the drop down. So what I'm about to say about like what I used to see is still there. They didn't get rid of it. It's just now hiding behind certain places and drop downs. So overall, shout out to the Fountain team. I love to see the innovation. I love historically, even before Bitcoin, like whenever one of my favorite apps does like a really big overhaul, I'm always interested in seeing it, especially podcast players. I'm a Pocket Cast type of guy when it comes to legacy podcast apps. And I remember when they made their material change, when they went from what they were before to Google's material UI. And I think that's actually how it still stands to this day. And it was phenomenal. So I'm a big fan of when companies take the initiative to rebrand everything and rechange everything. So this is a step in the right direction. But give me a light mode and try to not make everything so cardy. Maybe they know what I'm talking about. Maybe you don't know what I'm talking about, but everything is just a card. It just sits there. There's no, So basically you package the information, you fetch the information, and then you populate these objects called cards. I'm not the best programmer, but I have a little bit of Android development experience, and that's kind of what you're doing here. So shout out to Fountain. Please keep it coming. It's amazing. It's fun. I just need to get used to it. I love that the font is different now. I love that everything looks that way. But the wallet app I'm still getting used to it. And give me that daytime mode. That's all I ask on that. You guys go check it out. If you're listening to the show, stream us some sats, boost us some sats on Fountain. If you haven't checked out Fountain, this isn't a show. It's just an easy way to get on board and check it out. Check out that new update and more updates to come. Shout out to Oscar, trying to get him on the show. I've had him on the show before, but he's a busy guy. He's grinding, he's working. All right, last thing I got here, and it's been a really long day, y'all, so excuse that I don't have the energy and the passion that I usually do. This is a little bit more laid back, Jose, but I've had a very long day, and I wanted to make sure I get this solo rip in here before the weekend for y'all. Peter Zeihan on Rogan, or Zeihan, or whatever. Let's just listen to this. I don't really got much to say on this, so that's probably why I saved this for last.
16,000. It has another 17,000 to go down.
Duh, really?
Yeah, there's no intrinsic value to this product.
And do you think that people have just inherently lost faith in the idea behind crypto because of FTX?
Well, it became an ideology, and whenever you invest based on an ideology, you're going to make some decisions that are a little divorced from math.
And what do you mean by ideology?
Well, the people who really like crypto are convinced that it's the currency of the future and that a decentralized ledger is the way to go, and that anything that is controlled by a government entity is by definition a negative, and if it's done by the private sector freely, it will be better. And that's just not how currency works. Currency is a method of exchange and a store of value. And for that, there has to be a degree of trust, and you have to have it managed in terms of volume. I mean, one of the craziest things about Bitcoin is that there will never be more than X number of units of Bitcoin. Well, by default, that means it can't be used for trade, because the whole idea of economic activity is that there's expansion, which means you need more currency to lubricate and manage that expansion. If currency is locked in at a specific number, you get monetary inflation, and that is one of the fastest ways to destroy.
Nah, let me cut this guy off here, man. This dude obviously doesn't understand what money is. He said store of value. He talked about the supply cap, but didn't correlate the fact that the reason the store value is important is because of the supply cap. I'm not him. I'm not claiming to be as smart as him. I actually listened to that whole episode, and the dude is pretty smart on a global level. I was going to say brilliant, but I don't know if any of the stuff he's saying is actually true. But he obviously missed Bitcoin or doesn't understand Bitcoin or hasn't talking to the right people. Now, there is always a side of most people that think that this is, as he said, no value to it, no reason to it. But this whole episode proves otherwise. The fact that Dorsey is willing to flip the switch, the fact that Saylor's working on what he needs to do, the fact that I could stare right here outside in the Bitcoin Commons and see developers working day in and day out, the fact that I go across the hall to Unchained Capital and the financial services they're building are built around Bitcoin, the fact that you can we are killing the remittance industry all over the world, the fact that Bitcoin has gone from this $2, $0, but $1 asset all the way up to $69,000, right? The fact that even though everything financially collapsed last year, everything, I'm talking about the stock market, the exchanges, all that, and Bitcoin still held at about 15 to 16K. Dude, I don't know what it is that guy needs to see or read or who he needs to talk to, but he's obviously missing the big picture here, right? That, or as I've said in this show before, he's so financially set that he doesn't have to worry about the problems with the world, the problems with remittance, the problems with, some people having more money than others and being able to do as they please. He's obviously missing it all, right? So I don't got much to say about this dude. Honestly, before this Rogan conversation, I didn't even know who he was. He has a massive following. A lot of Bitcoiners respected him, and now they're disappointed. Boo-hoo. Why you guys keep following idols? Why you guys keep putting these people up on a pedestal that are just basic human beings, right? And if this dude's thought philosophy is what triggers you, then maybe you shouldn't be in Bitcoin because we have a long fight to go. And I say this over and over and over again. A lot of motherfuckers think that they could just stack sats and that's what's going to make the price go up and that's how we win. But the builders is how we win. The information, the clean information like this is how we win. Right? The education is how we win. The self-custody is how we win. Not by listening to this fool whose incentives are probably fiat-based, because he even said in that conversation with Rogan that he's working with the government. So this is a bunch of FUD. This is a bunch of nonsense. Unfortunately, there's a bunch of nonsense on the biggest platform of all, that's out there. But as I keep saying about Rogan and this Bitcoin thing, it's very weird that he seems to be so baseless on Bitcoin. I don't think that that's intentional. I think he actually has a lot of Bitcoin, and I think he's just waiting to spill the milk, right? The Spotify deal, I think, has something to do with it, right? Especially if him not adopting value for value or even listening to anything that Adam Curry says, right? And not adopting it himself. I think it's very easy for you to wait, as they like to say, I'm just going to wait to see how this plays out. It's very easy for you to wait when the problems of the fiat world don't affect you, right? But as you go down and down that ladder, as you get closer and closer to the bottom, right? The desperate behavior and the search for a solution gets into you. And when you do enough research and you try to find the solution to these problems, Bitcoin always wins. Bitcoin is always the solution to these problems. And that's what these guys don't get. So enough about him. Once again, I don't know much about him. And I'm not going to waste any time on him because he's wrong. Right? And one day he would have to say that he's wrong or just buy Bitcoin in the background and not tell anybody anything. But somebody's going to call him out on that shit. He literally just went viral for being a doofus. For being a smart doofus. As many people are here. I appreciate you guys as always. That's going to wrap up this solo rep here. Solo rep 38. Do understand that I do this show for y'all and I'm going to keep improving this show for y'all. Whether you give me the feedback or not. This is my baby. I got to take care of talking in bits. It's what I built everything on. I appreciate y'all for sticking around for this episode, for past episodes, for future episodes. Expect more to come, right? I'm going to get to work instead of announcing shit because that doesn't seem to work. I like to work. And work always shows off here. Proof of work. That's what we're about. Catch us on Fountain, catch us on Breeze. They're just the easiest wallets to have on your phone and be able to stream sats. But there's a bunch of other ways to do so. You can donate on the website, talkinginbits.com/donate. If you're fiat minded still, you can convert, use Strike, use any of that stuff. Or you could just listen for absolutely free and I'll still be around. I'll still be here to give you this wisdom. Till next time, y'all. Later.